Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis, updated commodities, work our way through the dollar yields, precious metals, and commodities ETFs that I follow. If you need any help with anything, check out finding-value.com. That's where I dive a little bit deeper into these individual stocks, sectors, and companies. And we still have a coupon code called LEAP that is still active. All right, so let's dive in here. Let's take a look and see what's going on today. We're starting with the DXY, the dollar. We have pulled back to support. This is the trend line coming through. We are above it. We are using it as support, and we have bounced off that support to the upside today. So we basically finished the day flat, but you can see we went downward, bounced off support, and came back up towards the end of the day. So that's where we're at with the dollar. We'll see if this support level holds or if we are going to break to the downside. Weaker yields could lead to a break to the downside for the dollar. So looking at the 2-year yield, we are down today 0.6%, but it still looks all right. We've been traveling sideways. We have sideways momentum. We have the lows still coming up into this resistance level. We've got 3 small candlesticks versus the 1 large bullish engulfing candlestick. So I still think that we could go higher. And the DXY is also positioned to move higher. But we had some okay selling pressure that occurred today, and we're going to have to watch it and see what exactly occurs from this pressure today. The 10-year yield sold off about 1% lower. We're back to support. That white line going across is support. We have support underneath us with all this buying and selling. It is a little bit larger of a candlestick for a selling pressure day. So again, we'll wait and see. We've got a larger potential inverted flag pattern where this could break to the downside. That is possible still. That's why I've left it up there. And then TYX is the 30-year yield. We still have that same type of pattern, the flag pattern that could break to the downside. We do have a little bit stronger selling pressure candlestick today, down 0.82%. And we're going to have to see what momentum is given in tomorrow's trading session. Could this go lower? We have support underneath us as well. There's a lot of support underneath us at this level, and we'll have to punch through all that support if we are going to go lower. TYX TNX ratio, we are up today. There we are, up 0.24%. We are still, big picture wise, at a very low level. And generally, when this goes up, it is a tailwind behind precious metals. TLT bond prices moved up a little bit today. There we are moving up. We're below. This is just the inverse of yields. Bond prices are below resistance, and are we going to come back down or are we going to punch through? I don't know that answer. We'll have to wait and see. And then the 2-year, 10-year moving sideways today, and we're at a very inverted level. A lot of the times, slowdowns occur when this uninverts and goes lower. So that's what we're seeing at this time. And we do see, there is some selling pressure up here, some red candlesticks starting to form. There's also some green candlesticks. So it's kind of a wishy-washy area where it's not clear that we are just going to break to the downside yet. But we'll see. Gold down $10 an ounce. Is this a reversal candlestick? Let's wait and see. We've got good momentum upwards. We do have a little bit of a bearish piercing candlestick today where we could pull back a little bit. As these things go up, we may just consolidate sideways in a little trading set pattern and then continue to stair step higher, much like we did here. So this doesn't mean that we naturally just fall back. We could have even just a couple of days where we could pull back like this and then work our way on up. So I'm remaining positive on gold, and we'll see what the follow through is tomorrow trading session. Silver also getting a little bit of selling pressure today. It's not, this is more of a bloody nose candlestick, could be a continuation pattern to the upside. Still looks good, momentum's to the upside, everything's intact. Platinum down a little bit, about $3 an ounce. A little bit of selling pressure that we encountered. We'll see what tomorrow has in store. And then palladium was up a little bit, and we're still above this support line or level. So it still looks okay. XAU to gold ratio, a small little candlestick down day. I still think this looks good to go higher. With where the alignment is on the yield curve, I think this all looks very good. We've got the downtrend coming through. We have a small down candlestick today, and it still looks good to go higher for the gold and silver mining companies. And gold and silver is still holding on. Momentum's to the upside. We've got the CRB index that's up today, looking quite good actually. And we'll see if this can continue its move higher. We've got a nice little break here as well, and we very well could retest, if it wants to, this breakout level that we just broke here recently. We've got the CRB to S&P 500. It is definitely accelerating today. We saw some strong selling pressure in the S&P 500 along with the Nasdaq. And we saw an up day in crude oil energy. So big move today in the ratio, and that does look good to continue higher for the CRB index to outperform the S&P 500. So GDX down a little bit. Small little down day. I call that a bloody nose. It's a continuation pattern to the upside most of the time. And we've broken through the downtrend, so that still looks very good. GDXJ still looks good. A little bit of a bloody nose today. Still looks good to go higher. It looks good. And SILJ, a little bit more of a bloody nose. And momentum's definitely to the upside. We could get a little consolidation flag pattern. It's possible. But it still looks good to go higher at this time. Crude oil up 1.4%. This guy's looking pretty good. We've got through a lot of the resistance area, which is in this area here that we basically broke out of today. And we're at 86.63 for this one, CL1 light crude oil futures. So it looks good. Momentum's to the upside. Everything's holding on intact. TTF nat gas, we're up today underneath a little bit of resistance. And this could be a flag pattern that we could drop a little bit further from. We've got natural gas in America, a little bit stronger selling pressure today. You've got my little line there that I've got, which is a potential route, which would mimic the way that this fell and the pause on the opposite side. We've got our boy XOP, yeah, you know me, flat today. We had some momentum in the beginning of the day, but we are flat, and it looks pretty good still. Broke the neckline. We very well could. It is possible to do a little bit of a retest. I'm not calling for that, though. It still looks good to go higher. No reversal candlestick yet, but that is a possibility. OIH, a little bit stronger selling pressure today, down 1.25%. And that could be a reversal candlestick. We could go sideways or slightly lower. But the momentum is still to the upside. Still looking good. Sprott Physical Uranium Trust. We've got a lot bigger selling pressure candlestick here. Still bouncing around. We are still above support, and we'll see if that support level holds for the Sprott Physical Uranium Trust. We've got URA, another stronger selling pressure candlestick that is a bearish engulfing, and we could reverse lower here. We'll have to see what the follow through looks like for URA. And URNM also getting some strong selling pressure. We are above a lot of support. There's the blue support level and all this support level below us as well. So we're sitting on top of everything. We did get a bearish candlestick, which could head lower in the short term. Same with URNJ. This could come back to support. Very possible, and it is a pretty strong reversal candlestick. We came on up, there's the gap up, and sold off. So the momentum is to the downside currently. TAN working its way sideways, still consolidating. That's the consolidation I see. Squeezing up a little bit. Copper up a little bit, 0.45. Not a strong candlestick today, guys. It looks kind of weak, but momentum to the upside still looks good. COPX up about 0.45%. Lost a little bit of momentum today in terms of the candlestick, but still looks good. And the momentum on the bigger picture view still looks good. Lithium down a little bit. This does look like a reversal candlestick. We could head lower or sideways with this candlestick. And it's called a bearish piercing candlestick. A lot of the times what you'll see an upward move from a bullish engulfing, and then you hit a bearish candlestick, and then it wants to head lower or sideways. REMX doing the same thing, a little bit more of a bearish candlestick, right kind of at the same spot that we were trading here, and it could head lower here in the short term. We have to see the follow through with the candlesticks here. The S&P 500, that does not look pretty, guys. That is a big bearish engulfing, and that definitely looks like it wants to head lower. It is outside of the rising wedge, broke down, retest, and then came back with some pretty strong momentum. And there's the selling pressure momentum that I'm talking about, and the retest move up to it. So it broke out, retest, and then sold off with momentum heading to the downside for the S&P 500. And this could impact other stocks as well. Just an FYI, it could impact other sectors, ones that we are in. Nasdaq also experiencing a pretty strong reversal candlestick. It's a bearish engulfing. That also looks like it could head lower. Pretty strong selling pressure there. KRE holding on, just moving sideways. Emerging markets, a little bit of a stronger selling pressure reversal candlestick. We could see that pull back as well. That's very sensitive to interest rates and DXY strength. XHB also looking kind of weak. We could pull back here in the short term for XHB, the home builders. I think there was comments made by the Federal Reserve about potentially not lowering interest rates. And maybe that's what's causing some of this selling pressure. But bearish engulfing here. Here's another reversal candlestick today, and that does look like we could head lower in the short term. Moo, Moo, it still looks okay. We've broken out of this falling wedge. Momentum still to the upside, still holding on. Iron ore, it's trying to bottom here. We'll see if we get a bottom. We've got nickel that's up a little bit. And that's probably putting in a bottom here. Give it some time. We've got aluminum, still slightly higher, but we did lose a little bit of momentum. Could be considered a bloody nose. Still looks good to go up at this time. Baltic Dry Index moving sideways, trying to get a base going here, get some support because we're at support. Newcastle Coal Futures down a little bit, and we're right underneath resistance, but this is squeezing up, and we'll see if we squeeze out of this thing or if we squeeze a little bit lower or go sideways even further. We'll see. We've got Bitcoin up 2.6%, but we do have some stronger selling pressure candlesticks and a breakout to the downside there. So again, I'm going to wait and see what candlestick comes next alongside this. Ethereum did sell off a little bit, still looks a little bit weak where we could go lower. And with the S&P and Nasdaq going lower, that could be the case. We could get a larger pullback here. Looking at the high flyers, this is Super Microcomputer Incorporated. There's big bearish engulfing that started this whole mess. And I said we could be potentially topping. We got another bearish engulfing here that generally wants to work lower. This would be an end of trend move. If this is and we break below this, that's an end of trend move, which I highly think that is the case. That would be my opinion. We can also look at NVIDIA, see what that's doing. That also got pretty strong selling pressure. You've got a bearish engulfing here, a bearish engulfing here, and another bearish engulfing here. This to me looks like we are going to head lower, and that we could see probably an end of trend move on NVIDIA as well. I'm not in the game for calling tops, but this to me looks pretty toppy. The rate that this thing falls could impact commodities and other sectors that we are in. So get ready for some volatility here. And things are looking kind of weak on the Nasdaq, S&P, NVIDIA, SMCI, some of the leaders that people were jumping into. So that's what I see in the charts at this moment. Give me a thumb up for the content. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the website if you'd like. We've got a question and answer session coming up at 5 p.m. On Sunday, Mountain Time. So I'll see you there if you're a member and you want to join. I tape those and put them all on the website for everyone to view if you want to look at the older ones as well. But what I'll say here is there is some strong reversal candlesticks today, and we could see a pullback in the markets, S&P, Nasdaq, and that could impact some of the commodity markets here. So that's what I've got for today. We'll catch you guys later. This is Finding Value.